What food can FCK write off? Now and later's pulled my crown right off my tooth and I bit down on it. Now and later? More like no and never. I saw a recipe a while back for this 1950s lobster mayonnaise gelatin. That particular recipe can, in my humble opinion, write off live octopus. Really smart creatures being killed in the most inhumane way possible. Burger in a can. Just why? Any food with gold leaf on it. 2 words. Live. Octopus. I have quite a few, but canned straw mushrooms were the bane of my youth. Anything I cooked for my husband apparently. Acid streaming. Boiled jellyfish. I had it once in Shanghai and it tasted okay, like watered down grape jelly, but felt like chewing a car tire. Shark fin soup. Kopi luwak. I love coffee but I'm okay never trying coffee beans from civet feces. Anything made from the parts of an endangered vulnerable species. Looking at you, puffin eaters that are just Atlantic puffins are vulnerable. To be clear. Live lobster sashimi for that matter. Anything still alive when served. Anything traditional Chinese medicine related that involves endangered animals. Canned asparagus. Canned whole chicken. Foie gras. Shark fin. Anything from an endangered animal. Nestle. Any food that is endangered species. Wrap. Chitterlings. IYKYK. Edit spelling. Jelly deals. I'm stunned I haven't seen canned spinach yet. That was horrific to me growing up. I didn't even know it was a leaf-like plant until I was like 20. My parents only gave it to us canned and it was like eating snot. Aspics, Jell-O molds, and pretty much any questionable concoction you can find in a vintage cookbook. Gooey duck. It's a C. And nobody can convince me otherwise. Gold leaf anything. Sitlins just those orange peanut-shaped marshmallow candy things. Lively sashimi. Any food that still moves when you eat it. Edit. This is my first time getting more than 2 upvotes. Thank you all so much. Boys, be brutally honest, what makes a girl attractive instantly? Intelligence and kindness. Hands down. You can be pretty or not. But the moment I discover that you are thoughtful and kind? Boom. You're a knockout. Married my knockout too. Being passionate about something. I love when a girl starts pouring out her thoughts on a favorite topic. Seeing the excitement behind her eyes and increase in animation is super cool. Having a good heart. Building people up rather than tearing them down. Humor. If a girl has a good sense of humor and can make you laugh and also can take a joke, it makes her more approachable and attractive. Whenever they listen to the conversation and contribute. There's a thing of waiting for your turn to talk, and then there's actually listening, adding to the conversation. You should never just be waiting to talk. Listening and understanding another person's point is important to me. Premarital eye contact. Vulnerability. People are so guarded and closed off. Being able to have an open, genuine interaction with someone who is willing to share who they truly are is wildly attractive. That's what made me fall for my wife so quickly. She was so vulnerable and authentic from the start I couldn't help but fall in love with her. Her eyes, sense of humor, clever wit, in truth a pretty face and a cute smile. After that, a confident woman is very attractive. Intense eye contact, kind eyes, short skirt and a long jacket. I'm 53 and dated a fair bit over the years now. Settled. I'll be honest, there wasn't one thing that connects them all. Some it was their looks, some their figure or whatever made me think egads I'll give it a try. Worst they can do is say no, but, after that initial meeting, it's all about personality. Looks fade with age, but someone who can make your day better and make you laugh is a keeper. Being kind to me. Edit. Thank you all so much. You guys have no idea how much this means to me. You guys really restored my faith in the world, thank you. Smelling pretty. That will make me look around for who smells so nice. I'm attracted to shy people because I'm shy. Also thick thighs and a pretty face. The way she talks, walks, and the way she thinks. Intelligence is sexy as. What's the most boring sport to watch? Little League D-ball when your kid isn't up. Microsoft Excel World Championship. Not a joke. This is real. Rowing. I have been rowing competitively for years and I understand the nuances, yet it's still the dullest thing in the world. Pro fencing is actually not very entertaining. They're so fast that you have no idea what happened. So it's a couple of people with swords bouncing back and forth for about 30 seconds, something happens, and then it's over. Golf is great background TV to sleep to. Surfing. Hours of contestants just bobbing around the ocean and commentators trying their best to fill the gaps in action. I still watch almost every major contest, though. Fishing. A sport I thought would be boring but I love to watch. Curling. Gets me more hyped than anything. I'll be sitting there yelling brush the out of that ice. Esports when you don't play the game they play. A boxing or MMA fight with 2 defensive fighters. Nothing more boring than watching 2 people just circle one another and actively avoid doing the one thing that everyone is paying to see them do. Any sport you don't understand in detail. Mark my words, there will be a Haas-Williams battle next season. As a cyclist, cycling It's really cool to learn the technical parts and strategy of the sport, but I get bored watching people pedal for hours only for the real action to start a few miles away from the finish line. For me, golf, I love it and love going in the weekends to play around, but for the life of me can't stand watching it. As a huge Formula 1 fan, depending on where the race is, it's even more boring than NASCAR. Sort by controversial if you want to see soccer, football, sailing. Me in this thread looking to pick a fight with anyone who answers ice hockey. NASCAR. Cricket is the only game you can play for 5 days only for it to end up in a draw. Imagine having for 5 days straight and then in the end, no one. That's what watching Test cricket feels like. They're probably not the most boring, but the endless commercials and timeouts make American sports unbearable to watch. What is the all-time greatest driving song? Came to say, can someone pretty please make a playlist on Spotify of these songs and share it with us here? I would be eternally grateful. The Chain by Fleetwood Mac. M83 Midnight City just makes me think of driving through a big city for the first time and it's kinda rainy and I'm just looking out the backseat windows at all the lights and appreciating the vibe. It's a strong memory for me apparently lol. I ran so far away by a flock of seagulls, or maybe Fire a Woman by The Cult. Don't Fear the Reaper is a good one. Highway Star. Eastbound Down Smokey and the Bandit. Danger Zone. Radar Love. Golden Earring. I find the instrumental of Baker Street extremely relaxing while driving, mainly if it's sunset time. She Sells Sanctuary. The Cult. The Cult has a lot of good driving songs. Gas Gas Manuel. Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue. For me, it's Barracuda by Heart. ZZ Top Log Range. Burnin' For You Blue Oyster Cult. Well, I once got a ticket while blasting Machine Head as loud as my little teenage car could go. So yay, some songs are just dangerous to play while driving. Jessica by the Allman Brothers Band. Up Around the Bend by Creedence Clearwater Revival. Interstate Love Song. Tom Petty Runnin' Down a Dream. Roundabout Yes, 1971. Don't Fear the Reaper. Blue Oyster Cult for nighttime driving. Foreplay A Long Time. Night Call Kavinsky for driving in a city at night. Ramble on Zeppelin. Hollywood Nights Bob Seger. Free Bird if you're looking to speed. Panama Van Halen. Go with the Flow Katza. All Along the Watchtower Jimi Hendrix. If we're talking a long road trip, especially driving through the desert, I'd go with A Horse with No Name by America. Rebel Yell by Billy Idol always hits different on the highway. Led Zeppelin Immigrant Song. For late night driving. Riders on the Storm by The Doors. Black Betty by Ram Jam. Boys of Summer. It's either Bad Habit by The Offspring, or Go with the Flow by Queens of the Stone Age. Flirting with Disaster by Molly Hatchet. Cake the Distance. Not sure how this wasn't mentioned already. Burning Down the House. Talking Heads. Born to be Wild. Steppenwolf. What do we need to stop teaching the children? Kids learn by watching us. Whatever we want kids to do or not do starts with grown-ups addressing our own hang-ups. Full stop. That play ends when you reach adulthood. Play is important, even when we're grown. That failure is something to be ashamed of and to avoid at all costs. We all fail sometimes and we need to be able to accept that. That you need talent to be good at something. To push down their feelings and never cry. You don't heal unless you work through your emotions. Support them, don't scold. That you need to be friends with everyone. To just ignore bullies. As a former teacher, it does nothing to address the issue. The bullying persists 100 of the time. You are perfect. No, you are not. It's important to know your weaknesses and focus on your strengths. Replacement words for etc. It's not inappropriate for a child to know basic anatomy, and this is only advantageous to predatory people. Edit. Yes, I know the is not the. That's why I said etc. I was just giving examples. And thank you, kind stranger, for the award. Please isn't a magic word. It often won't get you what you want. I'm sorry doesn't erase a wrong and is only one small part of an apology, which the wronged party is not obligated to accept. They are being mean to you because they like you. That while they are special, they are not any more special than anyone else. If he's mean to you, he likes you. Stranger danger. It has some decent basic principles about safety, but the unfortunate truth is we need to teach children how to detect if adults in their life are treating them inappropriately just as much as strangers. I don't know if this was already said, but teaching your kids that if a kid bullies you, it means they like you. Teaching your kids that they have to love their family just because they're family. Teaching your kids that they have to respect their elders just because they're old. That everyone should be friends with everyone. Some people will not like you. You will not like some people. That is a good thing. Challenge fosters growth, and our differences help us to learn and experience life outside our own experience. You don't need to be friends with everyone, you just need to be able to approach conflict in level-headed and reasonable manner. What is a part of history that we consider to be a fact is 100 fake. The image of Roman gladiators fighting to the death. While there were many exhibition fights in the arenas where the goal was death, These were not gladiator contests. Prisoners, and the condemned, were thrown out to fight to the death, but not real. A gladiator was an expensive, and lengthy, investment, and having them die constantly would be bad for business. William Howard Taft never got stuck in a bathtub. That the Spanish Armada was destroyed. They did lose 44 ships out of 137. And the British also didn't beat them off with a small force. Their navy was actually significantly larger, with 197 ships, since they were joined by the Dutch Republic. A decisive defeat? Yes. A small English force overcoming and obliterating the might of the entire Spanish and Portuguese navy? No. Ned Kelly's last words being "such is life." That was made up by the reporter. So many Aussies have it tattooed or have big stickers on their 4x4s. But I guess "oh well" doesn't have the same ring to it. Paul Revere did not run around Massachusetts shouting "the British are coming," because if he did, everyone would look at him like he'd lost his mind. Almost everyone in the colonies was British. He actually said, "the regulars are coming." That Einstein said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. General public not being aware that classical Greece and Rome had colored paints all over those statues, much less colored dyes in their clothes. Edit point being, we tend to believe that there was a lot of white in the classical period, which isn't actually the case. Einstein never failed math. The rumor started from Ripley's Believe It or Not, and Einstein actually responded to them saying, "I never failed in mathematics. Before I was 15 I had mastered differential and integral calculus." He wasn't very good at the non-science related classes though, and did fail French. Almost everything about the medieval times. Our image of it is highly influenced by Hollywood. The Boston Tea Party didn't have some grand celebration. A lot of the colonists were confused, and it's recorded as one of Boston's most quiet nights. Marie Antoinette saying, "Let them eat cake." What type of girls should you not trust? Big butt and a smile. You should not trust girls who are dishonest, manipulative, or disrespectful. Girls who are not honest about their feelings or intentions should also be avoided. This applies to every gender, but drug addicts. Never trust an addict. They will always choose the addiction over you. That changes when they are well into recovery, of course. But during the midst of active drug abuse, do not trust them. Those that believe and do everything their boyfriend says or wants. As if they have no separate mind or identity. Ones who have a long nose with a wart on it and maybe wearing a pointy black hat. Those who always making you feel guilty for basically no reason, most likely just hiding their own cheating, lies, etc. The usual suspects: liars, cheats, thieves, etc. Incidentally, you shouldn't trust boys like this either. Girls who wear mesh masks and carry chainsaws. Don't date waitresses, bartenders. Just don't. I am sure there are exceptions to everything, but ask yourself, what are the odds that's the person you're dating? Any who tell you they want an open relationship or are poly, or wanna be poly, get the out of Dodge fast if you are in that relationship. Ones that turn nasty and vindictive after a couple of drinks. You can really gauge a person's true personality on what they say when drinking. The ones addicted to drugs. The ones your family and friends are leery of. You can't trust your own judgment. The ones who vape! Chicks with hella tats and piercings, usually dyed hair. They can be themselves, but I always get this feeling they chase stereotypical cool stuff to make up for a lack of. Or am projecting, so now you know what type of guy to avoid too. The one that had many failed relationships. Emo. From what I've heard before, one who is too invested in other people's relationships. All. Fun girl. If her name ends in Y. Fresh ones who laugh at me behind my back as I walk down the sidewalk. And the hoe. Girls with mustaches. They tend to keep secrets. Girls who don't treat their girlfriends right. Blonde. At my boyfriend's job who try to. Everyone there, male and female. If you ever reached out to someone after they ghosted you, how did it go? I have just to tell them I wish they communicated and good luck. Then I changed their contact to a grave emoji. I messaged him calling him out for being an. He ghosted me and then changed his Facebook status to in a relationship with someone else, and immediately blocked him. He later reached out to me on Insta, but I declined the message request and blocked him there too. I messaged her to let her know the birth of my child. She never replied. So I left it at that. About 2 weeks after it happened, I thought I was past it. But I had a few drinks, okay, maybe more than a few. I knew where he worked. I sent an email to his work email with a lot of F.Y.S in it. Around 3 a.m. About a week later he messaged with an apology and some crappy explanation, which I knew was fake. But hey, I got a response. I once texted a guy who ghosted me about a month after it happened. Unsurprisingly, he left me on read. I felt so. After that, I deleted his number. Lesson learned. Yeah, I've had a friend from Poland that I've known from DeviantArt, and he said he was busy and didn't send me a mail for a year. So I've asked him if he was okay and he answered that he was fine but busy, and then I've never heard from him again. I tried reaching out to a friend from HS by saying happy birthday about a year or two after our fallout. She didn't reply. Maybe not the best strategy, but it was something at the time. Also texted her to tell her I'd seen her sister. She replied to that but briefly. It's been more than a decade at this point and I still don't know what happened for her to ghost our entire friend group. I never knew why she cut me out of her life, but then I thought, why bother? So I didn't. Probably saved myself some grief there. I actually just texted them this morning and I didn't get a reply back. I've actually done it to others and they were rude AF. No response, no sign of being online. He answered and we had a nice convo. Later on he let me know he got engaged. I got my closure and let the person go. What could be done to prevent mass shootings? Reverse the Reagan-era policies that closed most of the state-run mental health treatment facilities. My family had a crisis with my brother last year and me and my father spent all day calling facilities all over Texas. The soonest anyone could get him in was 7 months. Sorts by controversial. As a teacher, it starts with kids needing love and care at home, which leads to people having their basic Maslow needs met so they aren't constantly struggling. And mental health needs to become a priority instead of something we mostly ignore in the US. Kids and adults seek power and a sense of control through a gun because it's missing in the rest of their life. Domestic violence laws that actually do something. 60 of mass shooters have past DV issues. But if you look at the DV numbers in cops, then you'll start to really see the problem. And healthcare for everyone. What do other countries that don't have them do? Put LSD in the drinking water. Make getting shot illegal. Better social safety nets. Mental health help. Give everyone small, personal nukes. How do you stop a bad guy with a gun? Nukes. Take mental health care and bullying seriously. Deal with the mental health issues and treat all people as valued parts of society and support them when they need it. Shut down the news stations and pundits which are drumming up mentally ill people into thinking they're in a fight for your life scenario which justifies mess. To them, us needs to address mental health issues and cost of living. You feel like changing the culture of a nation of 350 million people? I don't know if there's an instruction book for that. Do something about the mental health of young men and boys in this country as well as the government actually making society better for all. America has a violence problem. Most third world countries have violence problems that stem from fear, instability and lack of feeling safe. America has a healthcare system where people fear to get help, no job security, all for mat leave. In many states women fear getting incarcerated for having a miscarriage. Lack of affordable housing in big cities, expensive university, etc. Be nicer to everyone. What is your favorite type of bread? All the bread. Sourdough toasted. Can't believe no one said cornbread yet. Add a little melted butter and honey and I would literally speedrun over Legos for a piece. Favorite ever baguette. Baguette, money. Pumpernickel. There's a cinnamon bread I've started making that's delicious. Also garlic bread. There's really too many breads to pick from. I love oatnut. Ooh. Tough call. I love bread. Too many good ones to pick just one. Pumpernickel. Tiger bread. To make? Danish rye to purchase? Dark rye. Chapati. Whole grain bread. Whole wheat with nuts. Raisin bread. Inakal. Warm bread. Nature's own honey wheat bread. I haven't had it in a long time, but when I did, I loved every bite of my sandwich. My mother's banana bread. Depends on the application, but for eating alone, I think brioche or Japanese milk bread fall in the S tier for me. A 12-grain loaf. Challah, and a good French baguette fall in the A tier, and so on going down. Love a good multigrain. All types of fresh bread from the bakery in my mom's hometown in southern Germany. It is truly heaven. The pastries are so good too. Right now I absolutely adore brioche bread, milk bread, sourdough. I had sourdough from a centuries-old bakery in Austria in 2012 and I still talk about it. Sourdough, crusty. Sourdough, for sure. Honey wheat, garlic, baguette bread, honey wheat, sourdough. Wegmans marathon bread. My mom's homemade tortillas. Right now Aunt Millie's Live Light whole wheat bread. It's 40 calories a slice. I live a low-calorie life. Breadwinner, brioche. Homemade no-knead bread made with beer. Tastes like sourdough. I like bolillos. Wheat. Garlic bread and sourdough bread. Foreign. That evolved to keep us safe from danger. The brain really likes activities that are dangerous. For example, doing drugs, driving fast, etc. The brain prioritizes dopamine more than anything, even nutrition and sometimes oxygen. This is a fact. Ultimately helps up to be able to reproduce more successfully than others over the long term. Safety from danger is secondary. It didn't evolve to keep us safe. It evolved to create offspring which can create offspring. Safety is part of that, but so is how we often need to deal with other entities, which often involves risk and danger for ourselves. The brain's job isn't only to keep us safe from danger, it's to help us to survive danger that we can't escape. Seeking moderate danger is a way to condition us to help us survive high danger. If we never took risks, we wouldn't innovate. The same part of the brain that likes driving fast would have led cavemen to hunt mammoths and so on. That's Darwinism in action. You're descended from people who survived taking risks. Will you survive your risks, or will you fall out of the gene pool? Find out next time on the Darwin Awards. Your brain's job is to get you through successful conception and birth and necessary child rearing. For males, mostly just the conception part. Your survival is optional. My therapist recently said your brain is basically there to keep itself alive, and you, if it can do so without hurting itself, absolutely wild to me. It's not all about pain. It's about maximizing pleasure while minimizing pain or energy spent. Our brain just plain sucks at making accurate predictions without experience and being instinctively scared of harmless things like bugs or worms or spiders, but finding bears adorable enough to make plush toys of them even though they were one of early man's more common predators. The negative things you listed there universally provide benefits that last, at the very least, a short time, and while they are there they feel really good. You are confusing ways society has molded us to get dopamine drives versus normal human behavior for the last 100,000 years. Read into some anthropology and understand the why better. What were you bullied for? I was socially awkward. I also was greatly motivated to be liked. I did a lot of trying to be liked that in hindsight, made me unliked. Eczema, which often affected my face. I was called a biscuit head, because my head was shaped like a biscuit. My name, being the small kid. For being the quiet kid, being easy to walk over. I had a really hard time asserting myself. So being too nice. But really, just very insecure. Glasses, red hair, and freckles. Opie, howdy doody, and red-headed stepchild jokes all the way through school. Having red hair. As a black kid, in a predominantly black area, wearing glasses and having braces, being nice, being smart, liking anime, wanting to be a pilot, influenced by the anime I liked the most, but guess what? I'm a pilot now. Having a big nose. Funny thing is, as an adult I told people that I was bullied for my big nose, and I get you don't even have a big nose. So confusing. Bringing Indian food as a packed lunch to school. By some whites. In Britain, where Indian food is one of the most widely consumed foods in the country, a lot of whites eat Indian food. They were complete dipshits, being shy and overweight. Having glasses. You classmates. Being too quiet. No, I just don't want to talk to you assholes. Weight, acne, hygiene, voice, you name it. That was about 20 years ago in high school, but that bullying cut deep, and the emotions I felt during those times still feel as fresh as they did back then when I think about it. Heterochromia. Called devil eyes, demon eyes. Had one kid flick water on me from the water fountain, acting like it was holy water, and say "get back devil" in a mocking way. Boy, did that flip. I didn't know it at the time, but for being autistic. That's the question. I have no clue, but they hated me for no reason. Being a girl with dark body hair and a small chest. Girls are vicious. Being smaller than average the time, and being poor.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.